Good morning. I got a request last week to talk about how to make cinematic dark pop, like kind of Billie Eilish meets Adele, Sam Smith. I feel like cinematic pop is actually really easy genre to write. It's just that it sounds and looks hard because there's just so much going on. The essence of it is very simple, and I think anyone can do it just with a little bit of practice. So the main thing you have to remember is what you are taking when you're creating cinematic pop is you're taking a pop structure. The essence of it is a pop structure, and your chords are still going to be pop. You're going to have like your intro, your verse 1, verse 2, pre-chorus, whatever, you know, that kind of thing. That's going to be a structure of the song, and then the chords that you're going to use in those songs are just going to be the same chord progressions that you'd use for a pop song. So you're just going to use your 1 4 5 3 1, what is it, 1 4 5 6 1 5 6 4, whatever, those chord progressions. Your sound choices, obviously it's going to be centered around the piano, and then you're going to just have strings flying all over the place. You're going to have strings to help elevate the chorus and help elevate the pre-chorus, and just like some solo cello because it sounds mournful and sad. So the first thing you want to start with is your piano, and you want to start off with your generic chords. So you want to write something like, so for your chords you want them to just be something cool like this is going to be your verse, and your pre-chorus is also going to be built on this. And then what's going to happen for your chorus, you're just going to take this and just make it faster, or you're going to make it sound bigger. So you're going to do something like this. So those are your chords, and then underneath all those, once you've got that, I mean, you've pretty much got the track, that's it, and then you're just building strings, percussion, and everything else on top of that. That's your bass. The chords I'm playing on the piano are just like... And you want to do exactly the same thing with the strings. So the way I voice it with the strings, it's really important because the voicing is what creates that like huge sound. So if I'm playing F major, instead of just playing like that, I'm going to play like the F, the C, and I'm going to have the like high A on top. So it's going to sound like, and I don't know, it just sounds really beautiful instead of just playing. What ends up happening is you just get this like, and I mean, in the context of the whole song, you get this. I mean, that's pretty much it. You just do that voicing and everything sounds like, oh, it sounds beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop into OBS and I'm going to show you how I orchestrate everything, because I'm sure you guys don't want to see it through a computer. All right, let's jump into OBS. Woo! Going to play what I have so far. So pretty much I've got my ambience going here. I've just got the piano chords going over the top. The piano I'm using is the Unicorder from the Contact library. It is the most beautiful piano. This is what I've got. Most generic chord progression. You got to keep it generic. It sounds really beautiful. It's like romantic and like nostalgic, like sing about dying but feeling alive. Yeah, I don't know. It's fucking great. Okay, so once we got that, I've got my first verse, as I said, which is literally just piano. And like some synth in the background. And then, on the second verse, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in all the strings. So I'm going to go like this. I'm going to cry. Like, it's so beautiful. Right, and so the strings I'm using is from the East-West library. I'm using the solo... using a solo cello, I think. I don't know. And so the way I'm doing that is I'm literally just going up and down the scale. I'm just playing whatever comes to my head. And then in that case, I'm doing an octave to make that sound good. Here you can see that. Like I've got F, C, and then I've got the A on top, G, D, third on top, and it's the same thing. And so using that chord progression with the strings, it just sounds delicious. I'm going to play the chorus, and then I'm going to go through how I did it. can't believe I'm making this for a fucking meme. Okay, first, the piano is the base of all this. Remember that the piano is the base of this cinematic pop genre, and everything else is built off that. So I'll show you that first. That's what I started with. So I'm going C, E minor, F, and I'm pretty much just doing that for the whole thing. That's very important. So that, right, that dun dun adds some like tension into the next part. So if I'm just playing this, you'll hear, come on. So that's good. It's hovering. Up and then back down, right? So you're building that tension slowly, slowly, and then by the time I get to here, right, you're kind of bringing it back, bringing it home. But that's the piano of it. I mean, it's just C major, E minor, F, and then by the time I get to here, A minor, E, G, F. So it's almost like A minor, E minor, G, but I'm not actually playing the E minor. So it's like, right, I'm not actually playing the E minor, but if I was to play it, it'd sound exactly the same. Right, I'm just playing the G, which is implying the E minor. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't want to get too technical with the music theory rubbish. That's the piano. Just spent like 5 hours talking about the piano. The next thing you want to do is your percussion, right? And I know that sounds silly, but if you do the percussion first, the strings are just going to come naturally. So I've got this like timpani roll into it. That just always sounds good. If you don't have access to a really good timpani sample, you've got a couple of options. You can download one. What you can do is you can use like a reverse snare, which I've actually used here as well, and just take off all the high end. So I've got this. Right, and so without that timpani roll, it's not going to sound as grand, but it's still going to have that like... Right, it's still going to into the chorus. After that, with the piano, I'm just hitting the timpani. It's just that. I'm so out of time, this is torturing me. With the timpani roll, with the reverse snare, and I've added like a little sound effect here. I don't know, it's called a wall punch. It's just that. So with all of that, without the strings, this is what we have so far. Actually, you know what you can use instead of a timpani? You can use a kick drum, right? You can just use a kick. And that'll have a very similar effect. You know what, actually I'm going to try that and just see how well that works. And just add a reverb, cut off the high end. So like... Cut off the high end. That's gonna actually sound pretty similar. What I'm going to do for the first strings is literally just follow the piano, right? And I'm going to follow it just the same way I was doing in the re-chorus. So that, I'm just doing a little run with the violin. I think it just adds some nice energy to the track, almost. Right, because instead of just holding that there, I think it sounds a bit boring. Right, I want to have some like movement in there. And so moving on, I'm just doing quarter notes. I'm just going up and down the scale. Just exactly the same chords as the piano. Now, the reason I'm going up there, so I can go from the E to the C, that'll work as well, right? So I can go like... But I don't want to. I want to go up, because that's really going to add some momentum to the track. Right, that just sounds really grand, and that's what I want to do there. Same deal here. It's just a nice, like if you go higher at the points where you want it to climax, it's going to sound bigger. Really simple trick you can do is if you just like take this, if you're lazy and you don't want to write any more lines, you can take that and just go an octave up and octave down, and it's just going to sound big. But what we started with was just like this. I'm going to add the octave down. I'm going to add the octave down, which is going to sound like this. And then the octave up. That's kind of like your rhythm section. If you think about when you're making any other song, you've kind of got like your rhythm and then you've got your lead melody. Now, I don't have a singer on this, but when you're doing orchestration, it's very important to think like that as well. So I've got my kind of rhythm or my kind of background instruments, and now I want to have a lead over the top. So I'm going to use a cello for that because it's cinematic. I'm not going to go into melody writing too much, but pretty much the basis of melody writing is you just want to follow this like hills and valleys concept. I'll put up a link to the screen. I did a full 2 videos on melody writing, but do you see how this kind of follows like a hill and valley look? Like it's kind of going up and down, up and down, up and down. That's what you want to do with all of your melodies, especially in cinematic melodies. And you want to go high when you're trying to climax and back down when you're trying to like kind of bring it to a close. So I'll show you what I've got in terms of this melody. After that, I want to add like a full high melody towards the end of the chorus, because if you're listening to this chorus with everything we have so far, right? I want this part to be like the climax. I want that to just be unbelievable. And so to drive that home, I'm going to put like a really high octave violin or cello. I don't know what I got there. I think it's cello. Really high octave cello or violin string line, just really over the top and really just soaring. So like... So while everything else is going down, you can notice this is going down. Da, da, da. Over the top, I want to have this like gorgeous high melody just going all the way up. And that's really going to bring it home. I'm just going to layer it. Get louder. And that's pretty much it. That's how I construct the chorus. And once you've done that, you can just go back and rearrange all these different sections into the rest of the song. So you can bring back your verses, you can bring back your pre-chorus here, and then you can bring back your orchestral section. That's it, right? And so once you got all that, change it up a bit, change around some melodies, change around some notes, keep it interesting, don't just copy and paste it, right? And then you're done. The most important, the easiest trick to remember when you're doing orchestration is just layer. If you just put octaves and layers, it's just going to sound big automatically. Do some cool panning tricks, and you got it. That's pretty much it for the orchestra. So, if you have stuck it out this far in the video, what a fucking terrible angle. Wow. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial on how to create cinematic pop. I hope this helped you understand a bit more that cinematic pop is not a difficult genre to create. I make videos every Sunday on composing, producing. I do a lot of shit posting in case you didn't notice throughout the video. If you like my content, I would really appreciate it if you could subscribe. I'll be doing weekly videos so you won't miss anything. If you like free samples, I've got 700 free samples in the description for like pop, trap, R&B, whatever genre you can think of, jazz chords. I've got some sexy jazz chords in there. You know you don't want to miss those. Everyone loves their sexy jazz chords. So go download that if you like free samples. I promise. It won't be like 100 pop-ups. It's literally just like a download link and it will download, I promise. I think that's it for today. I will see you next week.